If you want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me, Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon. This way. We're back, and a great top of the morning to you again on this beautiful Friday. It's a little bit after 8 a.m., and you are still tuned in to the conversation, Coffee and Conversation with Collette. It's our open mic kind of Freestyle Friday segment. Just wanting to, again, thank the Son of Man and the new Nation of Islam. I've learned I will work to continuously study and grow and learn. And I'm so appreciative of the conversations that we have. And you all know, you saw the information up on the screen, that we'll continue to learn and grow together. So we're gonna get into everything that's happening. I'm gonna probably at the half 15. I'm gonna take a break because I got a guest that's gonna be coming up here to have a conversation. You all know who he is, so I'm gonna let him get settled and situated. But I just had a birthday a couple of weeks ago. So you all know. I think I tried to share that with you. I try to celebrate in service. It's celebration through service. So I serve at the mission. That's just kind of my thing. I'm just happy to be able to do that. That's the joy that I get. And I say that to say because we're getting older, right? And aging matters. So we have all these other things that matter, but aging matters. So I'm so fortunate to be able to have Mrs. Pat Rencher. She's on the line, and she really has diligently worked to bring the importance to us, to educate us about aging, how to age correctly, and what issues can happen as we age. Either things that are put upon us, people try to put things upon us, the natural progression of what happens with the body. But she gives an expo. So I'm so fortunate to be able to have her on the line because we're going to talk about this year's expo that's coming up this Tuesday, the 14th. It's going to be at Second Ebenezer Church. So she's on the line this morning. Good morning, Pat Rencher, to you.
Good morning, Collette. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, Pat. You are like the expert of everything aging. So when I think about questions, when I think about the work that you're doing, and you let me know that you're doing something, it's imperative that we have you on the line. So please, you got another aging expo that's coming up.
I do.
Okay.
And you so graciously had us on in May.
Yes.
And we've done a little rebranding.
Oh, nice.
We originally called ourselves the Detroit Caregiver Support Conference.
Okay.
And we realized, and the literature tells us as well, that a lot of people don't realize that they will either be caregivers or need caregivers. And they don't self-identify with that.
Yeah.
And so we rebranded and looked at and called ourselves now the event Aging Matters. Aging well, aging informed matters.
Yes.
And so our event is coming up next Tuesday. Free
Right.
event where caregiving is one among many matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You couldn't have said it any better, Ms. Rencher. And I think that, and I love the rebranding. Sometimes you have to consistently tweak your story, your narrative. So I love that. So you're not just talking about the caregiving component to aging, but you have a lot of other topics that you're going to discuss. Can you mention those?
I certainly can.
Okay.
So, and I want to mention this as well. There are folks who come into our community and do these expos and just simply provide vendors, people who are trying to get at you to sell something. The difference between that and what we do is that it's an expo as well as education.
Right.
And so we're going to take a look at, first of all, the silent epidemic of dementia in our community. And Dr. Gwendolyn Grady, who is a well-known, well-regarded geriatrician in town, will talk about dementia, the facts and the fallacies. And then this is the time of year, if you're over 60, if you're 65 and over, you know that this is National Medicare enrollment time.
Yes.
And so everybody is scurrying around trying to figure out how the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare, CMS, what they've changed, what's new. And so we'll have workshops on Medicare where people can can come, ask their questions, dispel any worries or myths or mysteries that they might have to their current plan.
Yes.
I always do the home and community-based services workshop,
Okay.
where we present in a round-robin style at least 25 home and community-based services. You know, everybody wants to age in place. They want
Right,
to
age in place.
home.
Right, I want to age in my house now. I want to be comfortable in my space.
In my house.
Yes.
And so, but what happens is people aren't doing that so well because they don't know what's available.
Yes.
And when you wait until there's infirmity or calamity or incapacity, a lot of times it might be too late to access those services.
That's right. That's
yeah.
right.
So, and then, of course, we always have to do the essential elder legal planning workshop.
Yes.
People just don't know what documents they must make sure they have for themselves and for their families, to make things easier on their families.
Yes. Yes. That's everything, Ms. Renter. And I just want to recap. I mean, did you all get the plethora of topics that are going to be discussed at this free event? Let me just, I don't know if I stressed that to us before, but it is free, everybody. So there's definitely no excuse. Free event, free parking. It's going to be Tuesday, November the 14th from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at Second Ebenezer Church. Let me give you that address if you didn't have it. It's 14601 DeQuinder Street. Of course, that's Detroit, 48212. And there is a free continental breakfast and lunch. So come on now. You're going to get amazing information. It is free parking, beautiful facility. You're going to have a guest speaker, Dr. Gwendolyn Grady Dansby. We're going to discuss aging in place, Medicare, Medicaid, long-term care, essential legal planning, caregiver resources, healthy aging, financial scams. I mean, you all, come on. You couldn't get this any other place. And it's happening this Tuesday. So, Ms. Richard, do they have to RSVP?
At this point, no.
Okay.
Just come on.
All right.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we're going to have plenty of breakfast, plenty of lunch. And I would just say, just come on.
Nice.
We're starting at 8.
Okay.
The vendor viewing from 8 to 9, and then the actual program starts at 9, and then we'll go into the workshop.
Okay.
You can come in at whatever time you can get there. I'm sure that you will be able to access some information.
Yes. Yes. And let me just ask you, is there an age group, Pat? So can I can go, like everyone should come like this? I don't want people to just think that if you are 65 now, you should be coming to an Aging Matters Expo.
You know, Collette, that's an excellent question because I really tried hard, I think last year when we did this, to get some 30 and 40-year-olds.
Yes.
And I told them, I said, you probably won't need the information right now. Everybody in your family is well and ambulatory and so forth. I said, but I bet you, come, listen, and file it away.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I don't get that much success with 30 and 40-year-olds, but I know that when I hit 50, overnight, Mom got sick.
Yeah.
Then a couple of years later, Dad got sick.
Yes.
And I didn't have a clue about what to do. I didn't know the difference between Medicare and Medicaid.
Right.
And many of us don't.
Right.
So
well,
I would say,
wait, Pat. Let me interject on that point, and let me tell you. And good morning to Stephanie Donaldson, because I didn't know the difference until I talked to her, and I just hear her voice in my head when she said, "One is the care, and one is the aid." So do you remember the conversation about how do you know the difference? Medicare is the care, Medicaid is the aid. So everyone, I mean, you have to. And the truth is, everyone should be there. Because if we're blessed to live, we're going to get older. And so you need to have the right kinds of answers to the questions that either you will have for your loved ones, and then ultimately that you will have for yourself. You need to start asking yourselves, how am I planning? What am I going to do? Healthcare, especially when you have the onset of certain ailments, illnesses, such as a dementia or Alzheimer's, and then you're talking about memory care facilities, and they are quite expensive, and how you're planning. So, Mrs. Renter, I couldn't stress the utmost importance of the work that you're doing, the free events that you are having and holding for us right here in the city to give us the resources that we need, because I think they're most imperative. They're most crucial to how we develop and how we age. So thank you so much again. And let me just give you a last minute to give a recap if you can.
Absolutely. The Aging Matters Expo and Education event is this Tuesday, November 14th, at 2nd Ebenezer on DeQuinder, the big church, you know, that you see off of I-75.
Right.
And it's from 8 to 2:30. And we'd love to have everybody.
Yes. Yes. Everyone, come on. I plan to be there. And I know my parents, good morning. I know she plans to be there too. So you couldn't get a better resource than this. Thank you, Ms. Richard, and all your partners for understanding the importance and giving us the opportunity. So everyone, Aging Matters Expo, it is this Tuesday again at 2nd Eb, the big church off of 75 from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. It's free parking, free breakfast, free lunch, free information. It's where you need to be. It's free. And Ms. Richard says you don't have to RSVP. So, I mean, it's perfect. We expect to see you there, don't we, Pat?
We absolutely do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Patricia. And I'll make sure I continue to post that on my website as well to share the information and get the word out.
Collette, thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Anything. That's what we do, everybody. That's the kind of conversations we need to have. We're consistently growing and learning and being better and bringing in the resources for you. That's what it's about. When you're good, we're good. So I don't want you all to go anywhere. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to bring my guests back on, and then we're going to talk about hot topics. All the lines are lit, so everything that's important to you, we're about to have it. We're going to chop it up. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. If you want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you got to tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me, Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon. We are back. You hear us whispering? Did you love that visual? I was like, okay, look, he's in the building. 6'4" is in the building. You know, he's my resident political analyst, and so we had to have right. We had to have the hood conversation coming off of the election. And I gotta say a great morning because he has a son in the building, Jaden is in the building, so I gotta acknowledge him because you know it's the young people. It is the strength of what Mr. Watkins and Mr. Tyler created in this great space and having his children come up to be able to see what it looks like. Hard work. Entrepreneurship isn't easy. It's not easy, everybody. But maybe your children will have a better appreciation for what you do when they see what you do. How's that? So good morning to you, young man, and thank you for being here. Hey, and all the calls are lit. And so before I get to the line, I just want to say welcome. And I know you had some... I'm afraid right now.
No,
you have some predictions or some things.
You know, it's been so wild this week. This has
been a wild week.
A wild week, y'all.
Wild week.
And unfortunately, Mike Duggan retained the seat.
Okay.
A lot of times we think that it ain't the candidate so much, you know.
Okay.
The narrative have to change about what are we going to continue to do for ourselves. Because the mayor's position is temporary.
Right.
Every 4 years, his job is in the balances. But our job to humanity and to ourselves, well, that's an ongoing thing.
Sure.
And I think the moment we begin to get tied up in who's going to be the mayor, who's backing the mayor, who ain't backing the mayor, well, who's backing you?
You.
Who's backing your issues?
You.
Your personal issues.
You.
Them issues. Like I talked to a young lady who said that $350 for her insulin.
Yeah.
I said, wow, this ain't got nothing to do with the mayor.
Right.
You know, so
right.
I would have loved to see Coleman Young Jr.
Right.
Get it, but at the beginning of the day, we are the mayor.
Everybody. Should say that now,
yes,
because we talk about leadership, right? Mm-hmm. We talk about who really leads. So at the end of the day, they are just representation of who we are supposed to be. And let me just say, and normally I'm going to just because I can. I don't always agree with Stephen Henderson, right? Editorial writer, okay.
Yeah.
He had a piece that was in a piece that Rochelle Riley did that talked about the outcome of the mayoral race. And the comment was the poorest districts, his segment, the poorest zip codes still didn't maximize the vote for Senator Young.
That's
The
right.
poorest
That's
districts, excuse me, in the city of Detroit still didn't turn out for Senator Young. So I think it goes into the conversation of, again, do we know what we want? And are we clear about how we're going to get there? I just believe that that's what this is. And then from a national perspective, again, I'm going to give that example about Richmond taking 32 seats.
Wow.
And I mean, we have some very amazing things that have happened across this nation as far as politics. And so you wonder what happened that quickly that caused people to get out there and go. I thought it should have. Well, guess what, everybody? It can have a ripple effect in Michigan. Michigan can do the Richmond. Richmond swore and took 32 seats back. Michigan, you can do the same thing. We need to get in line and exercise that, but maybe we can't because maybe we don't really know what it is that we want.
Right, and the division is so obvious. You know, like I was telling people, you know, they were saying, well, look at all these people around Mike Duggan, all these black people. I said, well, you know what? Now you get the point.
Okay.
You know, you see the swindle windows behind them. You see these
Stop.
people. You see these people who support this man, and these are the same organizations who support measures against your best interest in this city. You knew Wendell Anthony and the NAACP has not been relevant to us in quite some time now.
Okay, but stay right there. Well, let me just say, stay right there. And I don't have a problem because, again, I allow people to express themselves. But I think that we get caught up in, again, all of these characters. It is not about Wendell Anthony. It's not about Benny Napoleon. I'm thinking about the people that are hanging around him. It's not about Bishop Ellis. It's not about all the people that you saw around him. They have an agenda. They are who they are. They have been who they are. And so we keep looking on the outside, looking at them progress, however they're going to progress, however they make the alliances that they make, and we get mad.
And that's why I point
So
that out.
why do we have to do that?
That's why you have to come together with yourself and your community where you at. Because the only thing you're seeing is unity. You might not like how it look or who it is uniting, but what we have learned over these last few months is that when all minds come together, they move heavy. They move heavy. And that's all we have to do. I don't like when people are disappointed by an electoral outcome.
Okay.
Because that lets me know all your faith and stock was never in you and what you and yours can do.
Of course.
You know, and if we could sever our relationship like with politics like that, to where we become part of politics the right way, not just from the spectators gallery. Well, you only want me for my vote. Well, it's bigger. Virginia was able to do that because Virginia has a sweeping activism program on the ground also. So you got people who are working day in and day out in their everyday lives, even when it wasn't political season, still pushing the agenda. We need to change. We need to change. And you saw the results, 35 seats.
Well, let me just say, and the truth is, though, the reason why that happened is because those same people who voted for Trump saw what Trump stands for. That's what happened.
Yes.
So do you all get that? So those same white folk who saw what Trump actually said and then what he has done said, oh, no. So if I'm not going to wait until presidential to try to get you, I'm going to do something right now. I think we had a conversation, Deputy Chief Amos called in yesterday, and he was talking about getting a slate together for the next term. I don't care about next 4 years. I do when it gets here, but my position is, where are we right now? So what's the plan right now? Michigan, we got votes coming up next year. You can sweep it. Are you getting the policy together? Are you getting the candidates together? Are you having the real conversations about where you're going to go and how you're going to impress upon these people that you can select and elect to represent you, what your role is in that? Because they're supposed to just stand there for you.
That's right. And how do you assure that till at least 50% of your will be done? This is, again, goes back to the unity component. Because in that unity, you bred out the people you want to represent you.
You should.
So you know this guy because you seen him grow up from a little boy. You seen him in the civic activities that y'all have put forth. He's been involved. So when he says, I want to be your state rep or I want to be your senator, you know for sure the stock that he comes
Yes.
from. It's 2017, Collette, and we still are personality struck.
Yeah.
And I thought by now,
No.
we would not be struck on personality as much black power history that comes out of Detroit, that we would, of all cities, would do a far better job when it comes to vetting the candidates. We would do a far better job. You would think the Nation of Islam was started here. Martin Luther King did his first
speech.
I Have a Dream speech here.
Sure.
So much amazing things came from Detroit that set the tone across the nation to other urban cities.
Yeah.
Why is it that we are stagnated when it comes to this one issue? The young folks in those poor districts that they talked about didn't go out and vote because their parents didn't go out and vote.
Or the ones that did came out and voted, and they voted for Mike Duggan.
Or how about this? Those are the same numbers that was in the primary.
Okay.
70, 27, 30, 27. It's the same rigmarole. The thing of it is I told my wife, I said, people are disenfranchised inadvertently. You hear the young folks, hear the older folks talking about how ain't nothing is going to work. No one has a vibrant spirit or an engaging spirit when it comes to voting.
Okay.
When I talk to the young folks and they ask me, I say, yeah, you better put Coleman Young Jr. in there. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about that. Even if you don't vote for him, I'm just telling you to get involved in the process, period.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself literally locked out of that process. Because he will have, or whoever the mayor, the senator, the rep, the commissioner, whoever it is, will have a populace who shows up all the time. 74,000 people out of a city of close to 900,000 or more showed up to vote. That shows the disappointment in the system, and it may even show a disappointment in the candidates.
Well, let's see what the callers have to say, because all the lines are lit, and thanks so much for your patience. I promised that I would get to you. So thanks for your patience, and good morning to you. Are you there? Caller? Oh, no, you waited all that time, and now I don't hear you. Okay, let me go to the other line. Are you there, caller? Good morning.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, well, Sister Collette,
Yes.
power is what we want. We know what we want. I think you're kind of young. I don't know if you were around when Coleman Young, the first, was elected, but we know what we want. We want power. And the thing about it is that black folks in Detroit, we actually get power in a large, modernized city, and that gives us a unique position.
Okay, wait, stay right there for me. Stay right there. Wait, stay right there for me. Stay right there.
We're the only bridge to power for black people in the world.
Okay, so stay right there. No, caller, hold on 1 second. Stay right there. I need you to define what power is.
Political power, economic power, military power.
Okay.
Power to protect ourselves, power to take care of ourselves, and power to express our Constitution. Political power.
Okay.
Okay. And in contrast to what Malcolm was talking about, he was just talking about land, and that's like economic power, and it goes way beyond that. But we know what we want.
Okay.
And Coleman Young, he took us a long way.
Yes.
But the brother was talking about minds move heaven, and that's where we're at now, because we had the city for 20 or so years, and where black folks being in power was not accepted by the status quo.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you remember the prediction that I had about 2024, and the answer that came to me was we get whatever we want. We got until 2024 to get it, and that's what came to me in a dream.
Okay.
And a brother, Elder Haru, he came up with the same answer astrologically, and we're different signs.
Okay.
So we're opposite signs. And so I know when that happens, what we're talking about is going to happen. So I was trying to find an answer for what is going to happen in 2024.
Right.
And this answer came through a guy named, I think his name is Corey Good and David Wilcox. And they talk about a solar flash. And when you start talking about man's moved heaven, that may be what is going to happen that's going to change everything.
Okay. And you know what? And maybe it will. And I'd love to know then, where do we go and what's going to happen before we get to 2024? Because I believe that you're right. I believe that we want power. I think so many of us don't even exercise power in our own immediate existence. We consistently give our power away. And that is either in your conversation, how you allow people to treat you, how you treat people, what you put up with, how you then turn yourself into a victim. We're consistently giving our power away. So how do we keep power if we're giving it away? Caller, I appreciate your call. I want to let
and the
guess,
economic power that Malcolm and a lot of our other greats were talking about is not so much of the buying power, but the power not to buy.
Okay.
See, that's the economic power.
To
the
consume,
power that I'm a creator, not a consumer.
Yeah.
Because there is no residual income in consumption.
Right.
So if I can get you to first give up that one power, the one thing that you think is all power.
Yes.
Because if we don't have our finances in order.
Yeah.
Everything is a dream. Everything is a great idea.
Right.
You need your finances in order. You need to control your finances.
Yes.
You need to control the flow of your finances.
Yes.
Then, and only then, can you talk about power, because people are begging for you to give it up to them.
Yeah.
You know, people don't lobby other people like they lobby black people when it comes to materialism.
Sure.
You know, they don't. They get a new sneaker, and the first person they go to is the po-pos.
Yeah.
You know,
because we use that because we allow their media narrative to define who we are. So you have to have some value if I'm wearing these $200 sneakers. You got to have some value if I'm driving this $100,000 car. You got to have some kind of value if I'm living in this $250,000 house. We buy into that.
See, having the power to do something about what's being done to you is one set of powers.
Yes.
But having the power to change your ultimate outcome, that is where we need to exercise our power.
Yes, I agree.
Whereas in my house, there is nothing in there that says I gave Sony over $20,000.
Right.
Because we gave away our power. Yeah. Look at your shoes. Look at your closet. Look at your kitchen.
Yeah.
Look at the goods you consume.
Yeah.
Because that is how the world get their power.
Yeah.
By selling you something.
Yeah.
If you didn't buy, then they'll just be stockpiled.
Yeah. And stay there, because we talk about that in the consumerism, but you realize that the majority of the things that we purchase are publicly traded, so we can buy stock in those companies. Hello, you all.
That's right.
You keep talking about, okay, well, I'm going to save into a mutual fund, or the bank is going to give me my little dividend off the money that I have in my thing. If you clear your debt and take money and go and purchase into that stock, it can be a collective group of stock in the things that we consume. They're publicly traded. You can get your money back off of it, but we don't think that way because we don't have the conversations.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's nothing wrong with that. And the truth is, we don't start from the beginning. Like when the mortgage crisis hit and we were the most devastated city in this country with foreclosures and people losing their homes, of course, on top, I believe, with the government not being fiscally responsible of how to helping us to stay in our homes, there is no reason why everybody around here should not have been able to clear a house free and clear. That was my gift to myself. I owned property. Then I said, let me buy me a house, and bought a house free and clear. The historic house, I got 2,600 square feet, double decks, and I paid $15,000 for it, free and clear. So I don't have a mortgage. I have an asset. And so we should have been having those conversations. But when I was trying to have the conversations with people, they were telling me, well, you couldn't buy a house for that amount. I'm like, well, I'm looking right at it right now, and I'm about to close on it. So what do you mean I can't? So we're so caught up into that because maybe we just, again, give our power away.
And we see
I just want to say one thing, Collette.
Sure.
And then I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
You know, what Son of Man said at 3 years old, this experience that happened to him. See, God gives us a lot of signs throughout our lives to help to help guide us through life.
Yes.
And all of us have this experience at 3 years old. If you just think something really big hit you at 3 years old. I know at 3 years old I ran away from home.
At three?
At 3 years old, and the
Wow.
police brought me back. We stayed over there by Martin Luther King High School.
Yeah.
I walked all the way downtown because I got a whooping, and I wasn't coming back.
Okay.
But at 3 years old, anyway, the point is that God sets up a signpost throughout all of our lives in order to keep us within certain parameters.
Okay.
And we have to really deal with the power within first, and really understand how God is working in our life.
Well, that's why we
That's
say
a great
greater
point.
is He in you than that. You know, every time I always go back to that. Greater
Sure.
is He in you than him in the world, because the
Yeah.
greatness comes from your thought process.
Yeah.
And then you bring it out of your
the
mind.
thing is that a child,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
the mind is totally functional at 3.
Well, actually,
At 3 years old,
totally
my
functional,
wife
but even
was
before
playing
that.
3 or
Well,
4
see, you gotta
Yeah.
act
piano
on it.
in church.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the point I want to stay at. And caller, thank you so much. I'm going to get to the other lines, but that's the point I want to stay at. Is that at the end of the day, we consistently keep going back to us. Do you realize that everything we consistently keep talking about, the ultimate is us, me? Hello, when I understand who I am, and then for
right.
those of us who don't have a spiritual connection, we need to understand the spiritual connection, the God in us. And I didn't say anything about going to a church. I didn't say religion.
That's right.
I didn't say a preacher. I didn't say a pastor. I said God in you. Once you understand that and connect into that, it changes your life. Caller, thanks for your call. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please tell me which district is the poorest district now? I used to could tell. I can't tell anymore.
Okay, well, you know what? While we are talking, I'm going to look that up and be able to tell you for City of Detroit, 4th District. City of Detroit, I will get that for
I know
you
the Coney
momentarily.
Gardens is the 3rd district.
Okay.
Hamtramck encompasses the 3rd district.
Okay.
Highland Park encompasses the 3rd district. The
I'm talking
Mound,
about in the city of Detroit.
the Mound and 8 Mile area is the 3rd district. So the 4th shouldn't be too.
Let's see. We're going to pick that up. Let's see. District 4. Okay. Let me and is that okay? And that's Councilman Andre Spivey. That's his district. And let me see if I can get the boundaries for us while we're talking, because we want to make sure that you get the information that you need. So District 4, Councilman Spivey. Okay. I'm looking. Keep tuning in while I'm looking to see if I can get the boundaries so I can share that with you, because and if anyone
thank
who
you, because this is a good program, and I'm going to keep listening.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. At least I could give her that part, that is Councilman Spivey's district, and he was re-selected and elected for his seat. And everyone, I am looking for those boundaries as we continue to talk. So thank you so much. So, and before we go back to the lines, what else would you like to share about the outcome from the elections? Were you surprised about anything?
I wasn't shocked. I knew during the VIP movement, you know, when me and Les and a couple others were out there pushing vote in the primary.
Okay.
Over the last 4 or 5 elections, we never had nobody a challenger in November.
Okay.
So, we was able to squeeze that out of the VIP, is to get enough votes. And talking to so many people and canvassing the city, I almost knew that the outcome would be like that, because people are really either fed up, they disenfranchised, or they don't want to be part of the process. A lot of people still believe that the process does not work for them. And I'm only one person. I only can sing so good. But what do you say against everything that they put before you that was right? So only thing that I could figure out that would save us politically if we get recharged from the ground up, we have to be recharged and reignited and
Sure.
re-inspired
Sure.
about that process. And those who's serving in office could help that by actually making yourself available and seem touchable by the average person.
Yeah.
I told my wife, well, maybe Coleman Young would have done better if he was our city councilman first, because a lot of people didn't know that he was a senator.
Really?
You know, yeah, I kept.
You didn't know that he was a senator?
Yeah, people would tell me, well, what is he doing? And I said, wait a
Wow.
minute, how do you know Mike Duggan is doing a good job then if you don't know Coleman Young was a senator? What are you gauging?
But stay there. But then what means a good job, though? Because again, it's the narrative that's shaped for us. If you don't understand the roles and responsibilities of the position, and I'm not taking away from anybody, but the mayor's role is the administrator of the operations of the city. That's the executive branch. So I need to make sure that your trash is picked up on time, that the water is working right, that the streets are clean. That's his job. Council does the policy. Council does the juice is in the council. That's the legislative body that creates forms and to put things in action. That's where the money comes from. That's the crux of it. But if we don't understand what government looks like and what the role is, we'll consistently be chasing our tails. And let me just give the caller. I don't, on the map, I don't see the boundaries of District 4, but you can call Councilman Spivey's office at 313-224-4841, and I'm sure that they will be happy to assist you again, 313-224-4841. So maybe we just don't know, but I don't know. Let's see what the caller is.
It really makes it hard if a person who really wants to make change,
Sure.
It really makes it hard for that person to get through if the populace is so disenfranchised.
But I don't know, though. I mean, again, why are we disenfranchised, though? How can we say that we're disenfranchised when we don't even know what we should know, though? Let me go to the caller. Thanks for your patience. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, you are 100% right. The mayor's job, according to the charter, is to administer service to the city.
Yes, sir.
Snow pickup and stuff of that nature. But he don't have that function anymore. That's been under authorities of the suburbs, such as picking up trash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That guy's up, what's his name, McVance, on this side. That's a privatized thing.
Right.
Snow removal.
Right.
All those things they put in front of the people that he had made accomplishment, he has nothing to do because the whole city government has been dismantled and been shared out to authorities,
Nice.
Cobo Hall, Recreation, everything.
Okay.
Only thing the mayor right now is responsible for is the police department, the fire department, and enforcing a housing code. And that's what interests us. When it comes to him forcing codes, he put out 31,011 black people from 2015 to 2016, and I thought Coleman Young was going to expose it, but Coleman Young did not expose it because Coleman Young apparently was having a lot on his plate. But let me say this: at the rate that that's going, we are on the way out as a people out of this city. Now, was this election a reflection of the city?
Yeah.
No. 6-4 got it right. Majority of people have gave up on the city because they know that a financial review board in Lansing controls this city lock, stock, and barrel. We are totally oppressed people. Okay. And the election only was that we were going to elect officials that got no power and accept second-class citizenship. I didn't say nothing during the election, but that's what that election was for. And all the candidates, including Coleman Young Jr., I'm going to put a car in every garage and a chicken in every pot. That was promising lies they can't do because guess what? Lansing controls and collects the income tax of the city and process it. And any official to find out how many people paid taxes and how much we got, they got to call and ask them, how much money do we have? So those chicken-head people showed us who they are and all their supporters.
Okay.
Let me say this. 6-4 is definitely right. I was just going over the figures. Only 100,614 people voted out of 479,000. So majority of people have gave up on the process, and they rightly should. We wasted time. We must unite, and I'm going to have a show Tuesday, and I can't reveal it all, but I'm going to say this.
Okay.
We can unite, and I do have a plan to unite us across the city, and the issue is housing.
Okay.
We're going to determine what is affordable housing, and not according to the market, but according to our wages. And I bet you that'll unite us across the board.
All right.
Well,
I look
people need
forward.
to see something.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And
I'll be on this
thank you, Brother
10
Tyrone.
10 to 12.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to hang up and listen.
All right. Thank you. I mean, let me just tell you, and maybe there's more truth to what he said that we don't want to accept, that everything that we're going through now is just symbolism.
Well, it is. It's symbolism. This
Yeah,
is
great
why
point.
it's important for us to come together and make something real. Put something together real. So when they through playing, and then they'll see that, well, they already got something on. It's a reason why the suburbs operate the way they operate.
Of course.
Because those individual homeowners on the regular blocks,
Yeah.
they make sure civically that the lowest to the highest
Sure.
have a say-so in an input. And when it's like that, those who want your support to get to where they're going have to bend over backwards. They have to do it the way you say do it.
Yeah.
If the climate is I can run for office in Detroit because the people don't hold me accountable for nothing.
Right.
Well, where do you start at? Well, you first start at the liquor store. You start at the gas station. You start at the cleaners. It has to be known that Detroit will hold you accountable.
Well, stay right there. But the truth is, we don't hold ourselves accountable. Let me just tell you all, and you all don't have to like it. I'm going to go back to the lines. The truth is, we don't function well unless we're oppressed.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
It just goes back to slavery. We have to be oppressed. Everything has to be taken away from us. We have to be in struggle mode. We have to feel that we are being attacked. We have to feel that we are not equal. When that happens to us, then that's when we work together.
It's far too
But
late.
when we have had the freedoms and the luxuries to go where we want, travel where we want, live where we want, shop where we want, buy what we want, I believe that's lulled us into a false sense of being accepted. And that we believe that it's about us and that we have the same rights and that this is how it should be for us. And then we just don't do anything because we think we've arrived. We think we made it. We got it. That's just like the individuals who came and they went through the DREAM program and now they're being deported. You're like, wait a minute. Now I done what I'm supposed to do and I'm here and I'm fruitful. I'm doing my thing. And then all of a sudden someone said, no. There's not enough right now. It's time to send you back. So we're not going to get it. 6-4, we don't get it. Let's see what the callers have to say. I mean, that's what I think. That's just what I'm saying. 6-4 didn't have to agree with it. What do you think? Good morning.
How you doing today?
We're good. How are you, 8 Mile?
All right. First, I'd like to give a shout out. How you doing, 6-4?
What's good, DJ?
First, I'd like to give a shout out to U33,
Yeah.
RJ Watkins, rest in peace, JB Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Jones, all other TV show hosts.
Yes.
Right now, you're having a great show. When it comes down to the result of the past election,
Yes.
I just want to say that the average, typical Detroiter did what they wanted to do.
Which was?
Because, well, right now, you go downtown Detroit, hey, it costs $1,400 to live downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
I know most of us ain't had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Even though we was here when it was $400
Right.
to live downtown Detroit.
Right.
When it comes down to the major employers of Detroit, I really didn't see both candidates be around the major employers of Detroit.
Okay.
When it comes down to the spiritual entities of Detroit,
Okay.
I didn't see both candidates have all of the different spiritual entities around them.
Okay.
When it comes down to the small businesses all throughout the city of Detroit, I didn't see both candidates involved with all of the small businesses involved in Detroit.
Wait, stay there, 8 Mile. Stay there 1 second, because the small businesses weren't cutting the checks small businesses couldn't buy into that big dream. They couldn't cut those checks, those contributions to be able to buy those ads and build that war chest. But please continue your thoughts.
But it's over 100 to 1,000 small businesses in Detroit. So
Sure.
if there was ever to be just collective, not based on color, not based on financial status, not based on location, but out of 142 square miles, if you have between 100 and 1,000 businesses on one mindset,
Okay.
they would pick whoever the mayor is. Who you don't think like that?
Well, you know what, A-Mile? The businesses, those owners don't live in Detroit.
Ah.
So, you know, the
Well,
business...
maybe the
it'll
new
be-
ones, maybe some of them do.
It'll be
It depends
good,
on
it'll
what
be
business it
good
is.
for the business as a form of promotion to let his customer base know who they're supporting.
Well-
and then in that, the customer base will say, okay, well, Sal, if that's who you're supporting, because we tend to even look at the businesses for some kind of direction.
Yeah.
So if you got 1,000 businesses who's telling each of their customers base or putting up political signs in there, call me Young Jr., call me Young, or Mike Duggan, then the base will get it. For some reason, we listen to what come out the liquor store.
Well, maybe
we look at them and we look at them posters.
Well, tell me who the dispensary supported. So are we looking at who the dispensary supported? Because the people who own the dispensaries don't live in the city,
Sure
but they're
don't.
operating in the city. You all saw the article with former Councilman Cushenberry. He said that he believed that he lost because of the anti-weed citizens. That's why he lost his seat.
Anti-weed.
Anti-weed. That's what the article said. But you all see that Detroiters voted yes on the cannabis proposal.
But
I'm just
I brought
asking.
this up though today. With our past city election, we voted about the mayor,
Yep.
I think a police commissioner, about changing the laws for medical marijuana being distributed or located or do business in Detroit. Now, and the council race.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Now, I would think of a city of our size. I would think of a city that's going in the direction it's going. Even if it wasn't a president, it should have been more proposals. So see, the thing is this. Ever since Comey Young, this is one thing that people keep forgetting if you really know about the politics of this city.
Okay.
The last couple of times when Comey Young was mayor, he was looking for somebody to take over. He couldn't find nobody. The closest person that came was Irma Henderson. He didn't want to deal with the threat. Okay? So at the time when people who call themselves black said we had this power, we didn't even have nobody that wanted to take that mindset and keep it going. But remember, running the city is a business.
Yeah.
So the people who run the city, they're doing what they're doing. Okay? You got Ford Field, you got the Fox, you got baseball, you got hockey, you got banks. All those people run downtown Detroit. All those people employ the people downtown Detroit. So whoever they were supporting is who won the election.
Yeah,
That's all.
I mean, I agree. We appreciate your call always, but I really want us to understand. For me, the most important person is the average citizen.
That's right.
That's to me. That's the
Well,
most
he would
important
be more
person
productive.
who doesn't realize that they have the power. Thanks for your call, caller, and your patience. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Collette, earlier you mentioned that we're the only people. I can't stand that term when people try to isolate us as our issues are so unique to other cultures.
Okay.
But you said we're the only people, I think you said, that when we're oppressed, that's when we can get together. Just like during antebellum slavery and stuff like that. But the reality is when people are oppressed and dogged out, the outcome is almost total devastation to their soul and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
They act out in crazy ways. They kill each other. They kill themselves and all that. That even happened during slavery, by the way.
Yes.
It was a whole bunch of chaos and destruction.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say to your brother there, too, I like that hoodie shirt you got on.
Oh, the
And,
313, the hashtag
But
313.
I'm just about giving up on the Detroit brand. You know, Detroit to me is a cold, rust belt city, and as it is, they can have it. If I stay in this city, I'm going to operate on a different plane. I don't even want to recognize this Detroit brand from the French that came over here and devastated the Indians. That's where Detroit is. It's a French name and all that foolishness. So if I stay here, it's going to be on a different plane. Wow. Another thing quickly is what Tyrone said.
Yeah.
That's where we all need to start at. This city is controlled by the state.
Yeah.
The state. The city council, the mayor,
yeah.
all of it's controlled by these authorities and the state financial review board. So anybody that participates in what they think is the democracy and is not is an idiot. They're imbeciles, and I say that respectfully because you don't know. And people who vote in this process, you're wasting your time. You're delusional, and you better help create something different for yourself and your family and for the youngsters that are not even here yet. But this dynamic we have out here now is deceitful as it comes. Nice design, though, 6'4".
No, we appreciate your call. And this is what we're going to do because all the lines are lit. We have 30 seconds each to wrap up. Appreciate the call. We're going to continue this next week. What this really looks like, the truth of, quote, power, how we're run, that's the point.
Yeah, and and I know a lot of people who feel that way about Detroit. That's why I rock the brand so proudly, because I want to bring that pride back because it haven't left. I'm still here. You're still here. There's a lot of people who don't agree and want to make things better.
Yeah.
We just have to work harder, and we just can't be afraid of each other. We can't be afraid to talk to each other. We can't be afraid to approach each other.
Yeah.
If it does not happen the way we need it to happen, then that's when we get smart and we get amongst those who want it to happen. Because whether you want to believe it or not, the time is coming where it's going to be a great divide. You got some people who tired of trying to get people to get out of bed.
It's
so
divided
they stop
now, I believe.
Look, after a while, your grandma start waking you up. Yeah, so you know what? If he ain't learned to wake up now, I'm not waking him up. Then you wake up, why ain't nobody wake me up? I'm late for school. I'm late for work. Well, when was you going to learn to get up on your own?
Yeah. I appreciate your time. Always 6'4". And most importantly, we appreciate you. Couldn't have the conversation without you. We consistently are better because of us. So I don't take it for granted. We don't take it for granted. We make sure that you stay tuned into WHBR TV 33. This is the only place to have the conversations that we need to have so that we can continue to grow and be better. We appreciate your time today. Look forward to the conversation next Thursday. Thank you so much, 6'4". Thank you, Jaden. Thank you for the first top of the hour, Son of Man, the new Nation of Islam. You know what? It only gets better. Thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of the day.